Hi folks, do not adjust your set. This is the weekly update for SciFiScavenger channel. I didn't have time to film it yesterday, and if I didn't get it out of the way whilst on my run this morning, I wouldn't have had time to do it today either. So, what's been going on? What have I been reading? So I finished Machine Vendetta by Alistair Reynolds. It was fine, a good finish to the Dreyfus trilogy, and it was fun to be back in the glitter band. I must say I regret not boning up on or even rereading the first two books. I felt like I was playing catch up a bit, trying to remember where certain characters fitted in, which probably detracted a little bit from my overall enjoyment. So it serves me right. I could easily have found a synopsis online somewhere that would have straightened me out, but it was perfectly fine. I then finished Halcyon Drift by Brian Stableford, which was a quick read, as you might expect for a book that clocks in at 150 pages. I enjoyed it enough to want to read the following books at some point soon. Granger is an interesting protagonist. He's not your hero type, especially he's just spent 2 years stranded alone. I'm just walking over a cattle grid, so I'm going to take some care. He's just spent 2 years stranded alone on a desolate world, deep in the drift, and then gets hit with a 20 grand fine for the privilege of being rescued. Then he's recruited to be the pilot of the Hooded Swan, which is a new type of ship with alien tech. And the descriptions of him flying the ship are great. They're full of vivid descriptions and a good measure of utter gobbledygook as well. I think I might do a compare and contrast between the Hooded Swan and the Centauri device. It's a space opera from a similar period with a similar gritty undertone, similar non-standard protagonists. So watch this space opera, in fact. I've also finished Dogs of War, which was lots of fun. So that's by Adrian Tchaikovsky. In fact, I blew through it in a day. It's not a densely written book. So Rex is a giant dog with added human. He's been bred for war, and he's a good dog. He does what his master says, and his master says, kill the enemy. Rex commands a so-called multiform squad of 4, an even bigger bear called Honey, who's a great character, a monitor lizard called Dragon, who's a sort of a bit of background, really don't really see much of him, and then Bees, who's a distributed intelligence spread around a swarm of bees. So the squad is doing clean-up operations in the interior Mexico in the aftermath of a civil war, or so it seems. Rex and his team begin to suspect that their orders aren't good orders and wrestle with their conditioning to determine for themselves who the enemies truly are. And I really enjoyed the interplay between Rex and Honey, who is quite a bit smarter than Rex, really smart it turns out, and Bees was an excellent concept. And I now want to read the sequel, Bearhead, which I'm guessing involves Honey. I'm not 100% sure. I hope so, because she was a great character. Let me know down below if you know the score with that one, if Honey is a character. So in general it was good. It was a fun read and with some good concepts I think were well executed. So that's another hit from Mr. Tchaikovsky. So what have you been reading this week? Anything good? Do let me know down below. Always interested to hear. So channel stuff then, subscribers are at 2315 this morning at least. So that's up 25 on last week. So if you're one of that 25, then a very warm welcome to you. I hope you enjoy. Do have a look through the back catalogue. There's a lot of fun stuff to watch, and you'll soon have more sci-fi book recommendations than you can shake a stick at. So what did we see on the channel this week? So it was a bit busy with work and life, so it was a bit of a struggle honestly to get all of the videos that I planned to do out, and the third one was a rush job, and in hindsight I should have just pushed it out a few days and taken more time over it. Anyway, what do we have? On Sunday there was a look at 10, well that was actually 12, great colony related books. I do like a good colony story, so I enjoyed researching that video. Just as a side note, I haven't always read all of the books in these list style videos that I do. In fact, I often haven't read any of them, or not yet. In this case, 5 of the 12 are new to me, so they're as much a recommendation for me as they are for you. I did hear through top secret channels that I may have strayed into light spoiler territories on some of the summaries. It's a delicate balance to strike, I find, to give enough detail to tempt but not ruin it for a first time reader. It's just something for me to remember and work on a bit perhaps. On Tuesday I shared what I plan to read during February. There's some great books on my TBR for the next few weeks, and I'm looking forward to reading them. After undershooting on my initial choices for January, I've possibly overdone it this month, particularly as it's a short month. Anyhow, there's some footage of me dithering in front of my shelves. and then a look at the books that I selected in a bit more detail. Suffice to say, I've got my work cut out. On Thursday, which was a rush job, so it arrived 5.5 hours later than I planned, was a look at some books which you, the audience of this channel, have suggested, recommended or raved about in the comments of my videos or posts. I picked 10 which piqued my interest or that I thought might pique yours. And like I said, maybe it was a little bit rushed in the production process, but hopefully not so that it detracts from the overall objective of sharing some great books with you all. I'm not selling it, am I, really? But watch it, it's great. Comment of the week was from Rick Kearns, who wondered how the hell I have time to read so many books. And the answer to that is I get up early, and I read for an hour or two before work, a bit more at lunchtime, and then some more time in the evening if I can. And that's usually enough time to crank through a short book. Short books definitely help. But that's not the reason that Rick's comment is here, up in lights as it were. No, the reason for that is that a word that I had to Google, verisimilitude. I sort of guessed from the context, and you being a well-read and well-educated bunch, a better class of audience all round, you probably know that it means the appearance of being true or real. And funnily enough, the Mars trilogy is often lauded for being quite realistic in the science department, or more than most anyway. Anyway, thank you to Rick for taking the time to comment. Every day is a school day. And of course, thank you for all of you that take the time to comment on my videos. I always really enjoy reading them. And now on to more serious news. In the headline news of the week, a criminally insane book addict was controversially released from book jail. Known to this group, he is thought to have immediately begun plotting his next science fiction book purchase. In fact, there is some evidence that he may have bought 2 books online as soon as his freedom was attained. Police are warning anyone carrying science fiction books to be particularly wary. It gets worse, actually. Yesterday, I might have been to a secret book warehouse where piles of science fiction books were there for the taking for £1 each, and I might have bought a few dozen. All shall be revealed in a book haul coming to you soon. I almost forgot. I was delighted to receive, whilst still in book jail, a parcel from a regular viewer, Bruce, who hails from Toronto, Canada. Not 1 but 5 books arrived in the post. I was a very happy camper, and I will show and tell in that book haul next week. Thank you, Bruce, very much appreciated. And he did that via my Amazon wishlist, which you can find a link to in the comments. So what have you been up to? Have you been busy buying science fiction books this week? Do let me know down below. I'm always pleased to see evidence of compulsive book buying. It makes my behaviour all feel much more normal. All right, let's take a look ahead. After the rush this week, I think I will lower your expectations. I will definitely get 2 videos out, with a third in reserve if I have the time. On Sunday, I will be taking a look back at January's reading with a merciless tier ranking of the 14 or 15 books that I managed to cram in, along with some brief remarks on each book. The cream will rise to the top, and a book of the month shall be declared. And on Tuesday there'll be a book haul, baby. I'm looking forward to that. I enjoy making a book haul video almost as much as I enjoy watching them. And if I have time on Thursday, I'll be taking a look at some really great female science fiction authors of the 20th century. I did a first video on this topic some months back, and many people pointed out even more top-notch lady sci-fi authors. So there's definitely enough material for a second video. If I don't quite make it on Thursday, it'll go out the following Sunday instead. Reading wise, I'll be wading into February's books. At this point in January, I think I was on my 3rd book, so I've been slower out the gate. I've just about started, maybe 10% through my first book of the month, which is Midwich Cuckoos, and I will probably go for Bruce Sterling's Involution Ocean after that, and then Adam Roberts' Haven next. As always, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and until next time, bye for now.